Hello, I'm Lois Gray from the University of the Highlands and Islands. So I'm going to show you how to use Matlab Online. This is not a demo on how to use Matlab, it's purely to show you the differences between Matlab Online and the downloaded Matlab that you might be more used to. So first thing, we're going to search for Matlab Online, and we can just do that with a Google search. I've done it earlier, so we can just type that in, and this is the version you want, Matlab Online. We want to start using Matlab Online. You may be asked to log in which case you need to use your student number and your UHI password. So once we've logged on, you can see the window here looks very similar to the standard Matlab window. We can of course type things directly into the command window. So there's an example, 3 times 5, and our answer is 15, that's fine. You can carry on doing that. You can copy and paste what you've typed in using Control-C and Control-V. But of course the problem here is that once you close MATLAB, everything in the command window is lost, unless you do a screen print of that. So rather than typing things directly into command window, I'd strongly suggest you use scripts. So we'll see we're in the Home tab here. If we click on New Script, we will instantly switch to the Editor tab. And one other thing to note is that all your files are going to be saved to this cloud in what's called the MATLAB drive. That defaults to that, so you don't need to worry about that. That will always come up. Okay, so let's type in some code in here. Writing any kind of code, you should really give it a proper title, make it issue conscious, so if you do any changes, record them, and also add lots of comments. With MATLAB, the way to add comments is to use a percentage sign, and you'll see that the text goes green to show that you're writing a comment rather than writing code. So let's call this test code 1. Say who it's written by, so it's written by myself. The date it was written, which is the 21st of September. And it's a new issue. So if I made any changes, I would up issue it to issue B, and I would explain what I had changed there. Of course, it does depend on your lecturer how much commenting you need to put in your code. Some lecturers might require more, some might require less. So anyway, let's do something nice and simple, add 2 matrices. So let's define our matrices. Square brackets to define a matrix, spaces between column elements. So that's just a random matrix. We'll put the semicolon on the end to stop that appearing in the command window, and then maybe just a little comment to say what this is. Of course, with this simple code, the comments are not particularly necessary, but when you do anything more complicated, they might be. Let's define another row matrix. So you will see as you're typing that MATLAB will prompt you to put various things in to make the code correct. So it does check the syntax as you're typing, and it will tell you if you made an error. It's not always 100% sure what the error is. Sometimes they're a bit ambiguous, but nonetheless you will know where the errors are. Okay, let's give this one an explanation as well. So this is matrix B. And then let's just add these 2 matrices together just for something nice and simple to do. Okay, and we do want that to appear in the command window, so there's no semicolon there. Although I will put a comment on that. So this is sum of A and B. Okay, your variables appear in this window here called your workspace. You can dock and undock windows with this little arrow here. I would suggest you don't do that, just leave them where they are so you can see them. You can save the code through this save button here. It will save to this MATLAB drive area. If you try and run the code, that will also ask you to save it. So let's try that. So if we click run, it's asking for us to save this with a name, so let's give it a name. Remember that MATLAB names must have no spaces or unusual characters. So we're going to call this testcode1, and you can see here it says there's an error because we haven't called it a .m file. So all script files must be .m files. So we'll give it .m, and then we should be able to save that. Oh, it's not letting me do that. I've already got one called that, so let's call it testcode2. That's fine. It doesn't seem to let you overwrite existing ones, and I'm not sure why that is. But there we go. So that's saved it and done the calculation. We can see the answer to the calculation appears in our command window down near the bottom. It also appears in our variables, which you can double click on. Oh, and yeah, there's the variables appear there. We don't really want them, so let's close that. So there's some other things you can do in the MATLAB Online version. In fact, I think you can probably do everything that you can do in the downloaded version. You can do some plots of your data. So let's say that we want to plot variable C. Select variable C, just a nice simple plot. And here's our plot with our values, -2, 5, and 1. Yep. So it was a bit of an odd thing because plotting a single matrix is a bit strange because our x-axis is a bit meaningless here, but there you go anyway. I'm sure you can do more exciting things. So let's close that. Other things you can do is if you have apps installed, you can do things like Bode plots or PID tuning. If the app's not installed, you can get the apps from this Get More Apps button. So things like the Simulink Control Design or Control Design Toolbox you can get from the Get More Apps here. You can also publish your script files to give you some nice reports. So say we wanted to publish it as a PDF, we could click on that and we get a nice published document, PDF document, showing our script and our solution to the script as well, which is quite nice if you're doing any student reports for courseworks or whatever. So that does appear in a new window, so we don't need to keep that open just now. So one other thing I want to show you is how to find your scripts if you've closed them, because they are all saved in this MATLAB Drive folder. So if we close that down and we want to open our script, you can see we've moved back to the Home tab here. So what we'll do here is find files and then type into, if you remember the name of your file, that's fine. You can type in the actual name. I don't remember the name, so I'm just going to type in test in here because I knew I called it test something, and then click find. And here it is. It appears here. To open it again, you just double click, left click on the file name. And hopefully you can see, we can close that now and you can see there is your file. Okay, so that's all for now then. I hope this is useful. See you later, I guess.